Hey everybody, and welcome back to We the Revolution. Go back into Act 1, Day 14. Common folk don't like us much, but we're kind of like even across the board, it seems. Oh, that's right, we have to talk to our friend Raymond Devoyer. How are you feeling? You were still out of it when I visited you. I've been stabbed in the gut. How do you think I feel? The wounds are not fully healed, but I think it would be good to show up to work anyways. Yes, look, I need to talk to you. I think I must. Has your father ever told you how exactly your brother evaded the gallows and ended up at the front lines? I've asked, but all I ever got was silence. I was the one who appointed his case. Okay, so a little bit of a backstory here.
The verdict was just a formality. For such mutilation of another person, I could have only sentenced the accused to death. Your father came to me and begged for his firstborn's life. I did not know what to do. I spent that night thinking about the case. Eventually, I burnt the files. I told your father to banish Bruno from the city, then sell his stall to those he was at odds with, the Reynards. He was also supposed to give part of that money to the family of the wounded boy. Your father agreed to everything. I remember the eyes of your brother when he was banished from his home. But his father did not have a choice. It was the only way to save his son.
Okay, so the son didn't really understand. He just thought his father was angry at him or doing the wrong thing by getting rid of him, but really the father was trying to protect the son. I gotcha. Later we learned that Bruno enlisted and died at the front lines. What I'm trying to say is what? Your brother died anyway, despite me showing him mercy. But that does not mean showing it was worthless. Remember this while you're hunting down your enemies. So remember to show mercy to people. I understand. I mean, my brother did die anyway, but he still had a chance. Like, he was going to die 100% if you sentence him to death. Getting sent to the front lines of war, I mean, that's a chance of death. It's not certain, though. So it does sound like the better option. People are happy right now, and everyone wants this guy to die, except for the aristocrats. So I'm sorry to aristocrats, the minister's wife has fled. Okay, so who do we have here? Ah, this is Jean-Marie Roland. You're the guy we were hunting down, huh? What, did the defendant confess to the crime? Who is Cote? The man that, witnessed the incident with the iron cabinet? How does the defendant explain the threats against the judge of the tribunal? What was the cover for the Roland's whorehouse? Well, we know that. It was, well, we don't know that. I mean, a political salon, I believe, but... Alright, let's just... Although we all know the defendant, please introduce yourself for the record. Jean-Marie Roland, Minister of the Interior and Deputy of the Convention. You're no longer a minister, you traitor. I am innocent unless you are able to prove my guilt. Cut the serpent's head off as fast as you can. Alright, and there's lots of pages here. 3 pages. Jean-Marie Roland, until recently a Minister of the Interior, has been accused of corruption and treason. For the charge of corruption, we began the investigation by questioning prominent members of the convention. Citizens Herbert and Robespierre were particularly helpful. They testified that Minister Roland had several times discreetly offered them benefits for softening their stance with regards to the continuation of war against the monarchies that pose a threat to us, chiefly Britain and Spain. The citizens mentioned had no hard evidence that would allow them to accuse Roland. Furthermore, they suspected the offer did not come directly from the minister. They speculated the originator could have been Citizen Capet himself, who maintained strong relations with Roland. Not wanting to make a false accusation, the people involved were waiting for indisputable evidence to emerge. Alright. When his attempt to bribe prominent convention members failed, Roland supposedly turned to less influential deputies. He hoped to win their hearts with the support of his wife, Jeanne-Marie Roland. Well, we have Jean and Jean. I'm going to pronounce them the exact same way. I'm sorry. Which served as a cover for managing... She hosts a political salon, which served as a cover for managing a brothel. So yeah, political salon. Unfortunately, we were not able to identify any deputies that could have taken advantage of the hospitality offered by Madame Roland and her charges. Nevertheless, the local residents confirmed that coaches full of men used to arrive at night to the given address. We do not know whether they really went there to discuss politics, but it does not seem probable. The charge of treason is based on the matter disclosed during the trial of Citizen Capet, i.e. the Iron Cabinet. Roland supposedly hurried to take some of the documents from the cabinet that could give him away. One of the participants of those events and the minister's subordinate, Philip Cook, has expressed his readiness to testify. Thanks to his ready wits, the destruction of documents concerning Louis himself was prevented. As if this were not enough, at the very last moment, Citizen Saint-Just reported that in order to rise to full power, the Girondins were attempting to overthrow the convention by force. We've been notified that members of this group worked actively to incite an uprising, which would allow them to take power in other parts of the country. Supposedly, the cities of Nantes and Niort were under serious threat of their activity, as the intensity of counter-revolutionary and monarchist moves have intensified. In the light of these facts, the people of Paris, represented by Prosecutor Tinville, asked for this traitor to be sentenced to death immediately. So it's kind of a lot of, like, hearsay, honestly, because this they don't have any evidence for. We know they set up a brothel. I mean, we know that's true. It's just about the Iron Cabinet, really. Did he really take things out of the Iron Cabinet? And then was he involved in this plot to overthrow the convention? But our mentor here had told us that sometimes it's better to have mercy. So if we did have mercy, let's say, you know, if we did whatever we wanted and we had the death penalty, that's good for us. If we just send him to prison, people would still like that. They would still like that a little bit. If we acquitted them, I mean, we're never doing that. So we could show mercy and send him to prison. It's an option. All right, let's unlock the questions if we can. There's a lot of things to choose from. We have to select what is an accusation, what is the crime scene, what is counter-revolutionary in nature, who are the witnesses, and what is the motive. Brothel? That's, I mean, is that a crime scene, or that's an accusation, right? That's not an accusation? That's a crime scene? Okay. Hiding documents is definitely an accusation. Come on, that's an accusation. That's counter-revolutionary? Jeez Louise, what the heck? That's the motive? Destroying the evidence. That's an accusation. Inciting an uprising, that's an accusation. That it? There's no way that was it. It said all links have been used, but really? Is it because we messed up so many times? Your mentor's help cost 2 influence points. Okay, I just didn't see that option. Okay, you see, yeah, so we just messed up too many times. Contact with Citizen Capet. That's got to be counter-revolutionary, right? Treason, counter-revolutionary. Corruption, that's an accusation. Counter-revolutionary attitudes, that's a counter-revolution. Inciting an uprising, that's counter-revolution. Overthrowing the convention, that's counter-revolution. All questions unlocked. Okay. We didn't do that thing about his wife, though. You remember, citizen, that Louis Capet was found guilty of treason, called Philip Cote to the court. You're accused of intending to destroy evidence against citizen Capet. You're accused, well, let's talk about his accusation. You're accused of intending to destroy evidence. That is foolishness and a matter of fiction. Do not believe a thing that Rotten Cote has said. He was not inside my head to read my thoughts or intentions, but he knew you rather well. He was weak and too easily influenced, and now he seeks to avenge himself like a stray cat who dreams of being a lion. After all, the documents were submitted to the court, were they not? They were, but only because you had no luck, and Citizen Cote returned too quickly. You did not expect it, and you became clumsy. And he's lying to us so boldly. How do you know that I did not intend to hand them over? The investigative reports find that the defendant's wife had a luxury brothel in which the corruption of convention members could have taken place. It's complete nonsense and an insult. My wife is a respected woman of virtue who hosted a political salon. It was a place for great minds to meet and exchange their views on current affairs. My informants have confirmed the findings of the investigators. What a deceitful bastard this Roland is. What do I care about a few fools? If my wife had truly organized such orgies in the middle of Paris, you would not need secret information to learn of it. This accusation is pure absurdity. So you have not bribed any politicians by offering these services? None. Besides, whom would I bribe and why? I have not a single enemy in politics. The majority of the convention wish for your death by guillotine, so maybe you should open your eyes and pay more attention. According to my information, the form of bribery was already responsible for winning you the support of Jean Debris and Brusseau. There's nothing more than gossip and offensive to those statements. Alright, we're in prison territory here. Citizens Herbert and Robespierre testified that you offered them a bribe. Is that true? Of course not. As the Minister of the Interior, it would have been no benefit to me. It depends on what Citizen Capet expected of you. If I had talked the convention into peace negotiations, the people would think it was all over. They would have thrown off guard. They would be thrown off guard, and enemy agents would slip through the borders more easily. This would have added considerable difficulty to my work. The defendant is instead suggesting the possible motive for his actions, that is exactly what a traitor would want, a greater number of enemy spies destroying France. More spies would mean more money from the Austrians. Be quiet, you cacophonous dolt. Thanks to my work, the Herbertists were able to carry on with their wars without worrying about the country falling apart beneath their authoritarian boots. I have to admit, I'm not following this very well. You remember, citizen, that Louis Capet was found guilty of treason? I do, of course. It would appear the proposal of corruption were the idea of the deceased. There were no proposals, and if Louis considered something like this, I know nothing of it. You're referring to him by his first name. Citizen Capet himself spoke warmly of you, mentioning your special relationship and cooperation. Citizen Capet was my superior, and that was indeed the nature of our relationship. People in the corridors often said you could hardly let go of Capet's hand because you were kissing it so often. Why not just say he'd have happily sodomized the man? I do not wish to offend the court. This is not a court trial, but a scandal. Alright, I don't think we're going to have enough options to get you to the death penalty, honestly. What was your role in the planned coup d'etat? None. I knew nothing of such plans, and if there really were any, I'm ashamed of my fellow deputies. My informants say that Roland was not only participate in the plan, but he was also to lead the entire operation. I'll punch your deceitful Jacobin face. Look how arrogant he is. You do not like us all that much, do you? You want to kill me because I stand in your way to power. What in that would make me like you? You're giving us reasons to find you guilty. Even we ministers have our limits. We have honor that this charlatan wishes to blacken. As a minister of the interior, should you not have been aware of your treacherous plans, the treacherous plans of your colleagues from the convention? A word or two to the right person would have been enough to solve the problem. Answer, you bastard. I have nothing else to add on this matter. I would like to return to one incident now, which is not in the files. Ooh, is this about how you stabbed me in the guts? Do you recall how you visited me after the trial of Citizen Capet? I do. And do you also remember how you foretold my forthcoming doom, including a suggestion of my imminent death? What a shameless rat. I'd like to point out that I was in a state of agitation. He threatened the judge with death? And strangely enough, it was not even a few days later that I was attacked in the street by strangers who stabbed me in the stomach. I knew you were a despicable wretch, but I never suspected you were a murderer as well. I refused to answer. Was this also a part of the plan to overthrow the convention to kill the judge who could send you to the guillotine? I refuse to answer. I am innocent. Let's bring in the the witness here. Call Philip Cotte to the court. Hello, Philip. Please introduce yourself. I'm Philip, or Philippe, or it's Philip. Cotte, I used to work for Minister Roland. Can you state your position? Not really. I just carried out assorted duties for the minister, putting documents in order, delivering messages, giving bribes. What's he talking about? He is revealing the minister's true face. Initially, I was unaware they were bribes. I only came to understand their meaning later. Why did you leave the minister alone with the contents of the iron cabinet? How did the defendant behave when you caught him hiding the documents? He was angry, shouting that he had given me specific orders to wait outside the door and let no one in. But you showed a truly revolutionary disobedience to evil. Without Cotte, we never would have caught the traitor. I suspected there was a crime being committed in the room, and I could not shut my eyes to it. It is in France's best interest that her ministers are free of suspicion. Do you know anything of Madame Roland's influence in her husband's favor? Do you know anything about the minister's wife corrupting deputies of the convention? Nothing for sure, but once I was ordered to take a prostitute named Giselle from the Madame's facility right to the door of Deputy Pierre Vernillard's house. Do you need more evidence to sentence this treacherous couple to death? All Girondins are whoremongers. What's the purpose of taking the woman there? Does he really need to ask? This was not made clear to me. Nevertheless, I was told to bring her back later, and I can tell you, she returned with a black eye and dried blood underneath her fingernails. I gave her my handkerchief. I thank you for your courage. France is grateful to you. That did not get me to the death penalty portion. We cannot, we just can't, we don't have enough evidence for that. Did your wife also remain in contact with Citizen Capet? She attended one or two of his banquets with me. No traitor can ever stop themselves from consorting with aristocratic asses. I would appreciate it if Prosecutor Tinville could hold his tongue, please. Apart from these circumstances, my wife had no contact with Citizen Capet. She had no reason to talk to him. Are you certain you know exactly what was happening in her brothel? That's a good one. My wife is a decent woman. That's even better. Well, we can't get him to the death penalty. We just don't have the, we don't have the information to sway the jury. So, did he confess to the crime? No. Who was Cotte? The defendant subordinate? He said, his threats were an impulse. He was agitated. And that his wife ran a political salon. Sign the document. Yep, thank you. And set the verdict to prison, please. Sign the document. Be lucky we don't have your head, sir. Jean-Marie Roland is sentenced to prison. Are you not taking this case too lightly? Bullshit, do you expect us to accept this? I mean, we just didn't have the way. Oh, look at our gold man. Get out of here, sir. Be lucky you still have your head. Why is everybody disliking me? Why does everybody dislike me right now, huh, guys? Well, I feel like I need to get my father's numbers up there a little bit more. Actually, Bernard needs to be up there a little more too, but there's nothing I can do to raise Bernard that doesn't hurt my father's. So can I do anything with Bernard and my wife? Yeah, we could do a viola. We could do a viola concerto, or we could do an evening stroll. We probably don't want to do an evening stroll because there's people out there that want to murder me. So, sorry, pops. It's the viola concerto. Hopefully, it doesn't produce too much. Oh, it might really knocked it down, huh? All right, thank you guys. And now the board game section. All right, we've revealed a little bit more who this man is. Oh, they captured our spy. We're getting closer. We will soon learn the identity of R. We just need a few more corpses. This is a muscadine. They interfere with your businesses and that of your enemies by stirring up crowds in the sections. Excuse me? What's this all about? Buy an agent for influence points. Commence persuasion. I can't tell what our influence points are. Okay, well, I guess we just did it. We spent an influence point. We spent 3 influence points to let our man go. This dude is inciting the crowd. Can we get him to go in there and fight? We cannot get them to go in and fight. District is, there's no riots. There's nothing we do there. So we can't stop this guy? Guess we cannot stop this guy. We can lure enemy agents. Guess we just leave him alone then? We need to keep looking. So let's scout out here. What is lure enemy agents? Does that mean lure them to this location? Like, try to get them to come this way? Can I lure them towards my guy that will beat them? Something was really going on here. There's a lot of fervor going on in this part of the city. Okay. Days until inspection 4. Who is this man? Who's this rumpled looking man? Roland is out of the prison. Or out of the picture, I mean. I don't know who that rumpled looking man is. Well, we're only 4% done. Whenever you seize or finish a stage of construction, you'll be able to seize another building. You guys should really work faster on this thing, shouldn't you? Alright, I guess that's the end of this part. Day 15. And I guess we will end this episode, even though it's a little early. We'll go ahead. Well, you know what? Let's play it out. Let's play it out a little bit. It seems that the revolution is losing its breath. The situation is slipping out of the convention's control, and they think that we will clean up their mess once they have finished. Okay, a letter from Robespierre. Dear judges of the Revolutionary Tribunal, every day the enemies of the Republic become greater in number. We are making an effort to weaken the traitors, but if we are able to succeed, the tribunal must be faster and more decisive. No more shall we sentence people to prison. Enough of the prolonged trials. Whenever you approach a straightforward and obvious case, the investigator shall shorten the files, and according to the law of 22 Priorial, you, judges, will be able to sentence the accused immediately after identifying them. No trial will be necessary. No trials? No trials and no evidence? That's not cool. What are we going to decapitate people in droves now? Traitors and enemies of the Republic. But of course. Today we have several minor cases to deal with. The Roland Suggs executed the assassination attempt. Pasha paid for it. I still do not know who planned it, though. Okay, who's Pasha? There's Pasha. And there's Danton. Okay, Danton. Okay, and Pasha. Mayor of Paris, an outspoken supporter of the Girondins. So Pasha paid to try to kill us? Okay, what do you want from me, sir? Click the book. I can't do a verdict. Okay, so, all right, so yeah, we're just finding people guilty or innocent, just like that. Quick cases. Decide the fate of each defendant with care. You will not be able to take any decisions back. Pay attention to who supports the defendant. Okay. Paul Dubuisson is a snake oil salesman. He was caught selling concoctions made of human bones, promising it would cure hoariness. Not only was the panacea ineffective against the loss of pigmentation, but also led to many cases of sickness, pain, and vomiting. Well, that's definitely a crime. I was just hovering over to see, would it tell me? And I can't take it back. Nope, I can't take it back. I was just to see how does that affect these numbers here, but it will not tell me. It does say that the aristocrats support this person, though. We've learned from an informant that the son-in-law of General Everard Grandjean has been appointed to lead the government or the Department of Supply in the École Militaire. Before he met the general's daughter, Boudet used to help his parents at their tavern in the city center. So he's been giving a huge promotion to department lead. He potentially got it because of some nepotism because he knows the general's daughter. And maybe a crime for the general. Doesn't seem a crime for Emery. One Albane Maurice used a thick stick to beat Blaise Cellier, who was working at her fish stall. According to witnesses, the ruthless blows were punishment for dropping a basket of goods. And that's a crime. The Beau brothers, backed by the revolutionaries, 18-year-old Sylvain Beau and his younger brother Fabien used to spend their evenings looking for well-dressed women whom they would drag into dark alleys, beat up, and rob. They mostly stole jewelry. We know of at least 9 victims. That's a crime. And now the aristocrats. The laundress Corinne Chardin killed her neighbor, Theophile Portier, with a kitchen knife. The tragedy took place at Chardin's apartment. She claims that Chardin had attacked her, but there are neither witnesses nor evidence to prove it. No witnesses or evidence to prove it, but no witnesses or evidence that it wasn't. So, innocent until proven guilty, and you can't prove you're guilty. So I guess I don't like it because you probably killed somebody, but can't prove that you did it. All right. 2 sergeants, Gregory Gaume, and Lucien Sharp, have been stealing gunpowder from military warehouses. Whenever they manage to get hold of military pass, they sell the stolen goods to hunters and bandits. Stealing from the armory is treachery against France. Oh, yep, that's a crime. Wow. So only the revolutionaries dislike us. Everyone else is like, yeah, cut off heads. There you go. I'm sorry, guys. That's it. Thank you. Even the least powerful deserve justice. Next, please. You notice a woman about the same age as your wife standing in front of the court. She intercepts you the moment she sees you, and for the next few minutes she tells you a story about a husband who sells family heirlooms and drinks away their last francs. Of course, their children are starving too. Nothing surprises you until the woman concludes her story by asking you to send her husband to prison. She promises to testify to whatever is necessary as long as he ends up in a cell. We can spend our points. I mean, I don't know how many points we have. How many influence points do we have? We didn't have that many, honestly. Let's spend 2 influence points. Let's arrest the man. Last resort. The drunkard did not resist arrest. He was so intoxicated that he probably did not even realize who had taken him or where he was going. Halfway through the station, he vomited on the guard's trousers, which brought him a few kicks. Tomorrow, he will probably wonder why his back hurt so much and whether he was in a fight. The time he spends in prison away from the alcohol should help him understand a few things. Meanwhile, his family will have a moment of peace, and his wife will be able to arrange the family's affairs. Common folks +2, reputation +1. No, we have 6 influence. We have plenty of influence. What do you have on Pasha? Like many others, he was profiting from the Roland's whorehouse. When you cut them off, it was... Oh, this is Gregory Ramel? Who is Gregory Ramel? I don't remember who these people are anymore. When you cut him off, it was decided that Pasha would arrange your assassination. The mayor has strong allies, Danton being one of them, so we cannot simply attack him. We need to target his family. Pardon? Yeah, target his family? I heard rumors that his daughter is in a relationship with that many would consider unacceptable. She is involved with another woman, and moreover, the lady consorts with muscadines. If you wish to use that knowledge, Pasha will begin to... If you use that knowledge, Pasha will begin to make mistakes. Terrified that the scandal will bring him to light, his allies will notice and lose faith in him. Alright. Will that be enough? Only if you gain his trust first. He must be convinced that you know nothing about his involvement in the attempted assassination. I have a plan, but first we need to do something about the whorehouse taken over by the Rolands. Why is that? Why do we have to do that? Pasha loves gambling. Okay. I don't know what that's anything to do with anything, but sure, whatever. Need to spend an evening with grandfather, I believe. All right. We've scouted this area. Inspection incoming. In 3 days, officials will come to assess your progress made on the monument. Try your best to impress them. We haven't done a lot of increasing the monument, and I don't know what we've done here. We've incited people to come here. I don't understand what the spy does, honestly. Who we have? An enemy bruiser. The muscadines. Well, I need my bruiser to go fight them. What can you do? Lure enemy agents. Lure enemy agents. That doesn't seem to do anything, honestly. You can unlock. Okay, so you can spy. So go ahead and do that at least. Can we... There's no increasing... Like, we know all of the stuff, right? Like, we can try to take this place over, but the muscadines are inciting a crowd here. That's not great. We could try to lower the fervor, but I don't know if we want to do that while they're here. So maybe we just scout out this section. All right, this is getting a little longer than I expected. Jean Nicolas Pasha. Okay, so this is the mayor of Paris, the guy who potentially perhaps tried to pay to get us assassinated. The assassins who try to take your life must have been paid by someone, and everything points to the mayor of Paris. He is too cautious to let you attack him. You must catch him off guard. Number of successes required to win 3. Number of successes required for bonus 6. All right, we need to choose an action. Day 1. Do we let Henriot manage the brothel, or do we let David manage the brothel? So we have to take over the last brothel that we discovered. Pasha likes to gamble and flaunt his money. We should expand the brothel's activities to include games of cards and dice. I know how much you like the latter. Commander Henriot will be responsible for security. Pasha must feel safe with us. Or if you want to lure Pasha, you must do so with class. The brothel taken from Roland would be the perfect trap, but we still have to make it even more luxurious by adding gambling to the range of attractions to offer. Dice, for example. As an artist, David will surely add certain extravagance that will tempt even an idler like Pash, and he will not expect it. Yeah, I think if he sees our man like there, he's not gonna open up. So, I mean, like if we send Henriot in there, I think it's probably gonna seem like a setup. So let's send in David. I don't know who David is, but David, try to classy the join up. All right, so let's go ahead and end the episode here. We got a message from Pasha though, so let's see. I have been told that you wish to have an urgent meeting and talk about the suspects of your attempted assassination. I am more than happy to discuss it. All right, well, let's go ahead and end the episode though. We're making some progress. Not making a lot of progress on the statue though, but thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you again next time.